Hi everyone, Thao here. Alright, so this is the Galaxy Z Flip4 in the very pretty pink gold colorway. I also have it in the color Bora Purple here. So this was probably the one device I was most excited for just because of how in love I was with last year's model, the Z Flip3. Now, as much as I like this phone, it has some serious drawbacks. With the exact same price tag, although the changes for this year's model aren't as massive as I was expecting, there is one upgrade that leads to a much better overall experience. The main appeal of Samsung's modern day flip phone is that it turns a regular size smartphone into one that fits more comfortably in your pocket, or for my fashionistas out there, into your mini handbags, or my favorite way to carry the phone, inside a wristlet, just like this. I'll be honest, I'm sick of carrying massive phones, so I'm completely sold on this concept. Whenever I go back to a device that doesn't shrink in size, I miss it. Like, I'm serious when I say I have some weird attachment to it. It's just so satisfying and nostalgic being able to pick up a call by flipping it open or hang up on some rude doo-doo head by slamming it shut. This year, they tweaked the design slightly and now the hinge sticks out a little less, but in general, this looks and feels very similar to last year's model. The phone's frame got a bit of a glow up. It's flatter and now features a shiny glossy finish, which I feel gives the phone a more premium look, doubling down on the whole fashion accessory vibe that Samsung seems to be really going for with the Flip line. If you're hoping for a more notable redesign, you'll probably have to wait until next year. Ask any Z Flip3 owner what they dislike most about their phone, and 9 out of 10 times I'm willing to bet it's the battery life. If you didn't suffer from battery anxiety before, you probably did after owning the Flip 3. Thankfully, the Flip 4 has much better battery life. The combination of a more efficient processor and a 400 milliamp hour bump in battery capacity makes all the difference in the world. I'm comfortably ending the day with 30 to 40% now, versus having to do a late afternoon charge to make it through certain days. I also kind of love that they added a light performance mode for those who don't need all the processing speed, but would rather have extra battery life. Putting it on light, I'm getting really close to 2 days of battery. They also upped the charging speed from 15 watts to 25 watts, so not only does the phone last longer, it's faster to charge up too. Even if you ignore everything else, for me, the battery improvements alone have made this worth the upgrade over last year's model. Like, seriously, it's a very noticeable jump that fixes one of my biggest complaints with last year's model. The display setup this year is pretty much unchanged for the most part. The cover display is still the same 1.9 inches and is still meant for quick interactions like checking the weather, changing tracks, or taking a peek at your notifications. They added the ability to respond to messages with voice dictation instead of just quick responses. Taking selfies with the cover display also got better. Instead of this awkward square aspect ratio, it now captures a more standard 4:3 image. Once again, it's something I feel Samsung should have fixed a long time ago. The main display is still 6.7 inches with a taller than normal aspect ratio, vibrant colors, and great brightness. One notable difference from last year is that the main display on the Z Flip 4 is a little more battery efficient. It's able to drop its refresh rate from 120 all the way down to a single hertz. I believe the 3 could only drop down to 48 hertz, so that's probably another reason why we're seeing such a nice jump in battery life. Alright, so the crease is probably the most controversial part of any Samsung foldable. We've seen Chinese brands showcasing folding phones with much less notable creases, so you know it is possible. The crease on the Flip 4 feels and looks the exact same, so if you couldn't stand the crease on last year's model, this doesn't do much to fix that. I always get asked, doesn't the crease bother you? Well, obviously I would prefer if it wasn't there, but truthfully, 90% of the time, I don't even notice it anymore. The only time it truly gets in the way is when there's some sort of light source reflecting off of it, like when I'm using Google Maps mounted in the car. I've said it before, it's one of those things you have to experience for yourself to see if you can live with it. I've seen tons of stories online of people waking up with their screens failing for no reason. So be aware of that risk, but I can only share my own experience. Even after a year of use, my Z Flip3 is still in great shape. Hinge might have a little less resistance, but it's fine. Crease doesn't seem any worse, and the display itself is perfect. The Flip 4 still has the same IPX8 water resistance rating, but no improvements when it comes to dust, so you should probably be careful around sand and things like that. Even though my durability experience has been good, I still recommend some sort of extended warranty though, just for that peace of mind, you know. A big part of this phone's charm is the fun and unique ways you can use it thanks to the folding design. Likely its most popular use case, you can prop it up as its own tripod for pictures, videos, or web chats. You can hold it like a camcorder for that extra stability while recording video. With preview mode, your subjects can see exactly what you see, so everyone can strike the perfect pose the first time around. Flex mode, which is Samsung's fancy term for using the phone half folded like this, has really grown on me, but not the way that Samsung markets it. I really just like it because I can have it on my desk, but still tilt the top half of the screen towards me, making it easier to read articles, watch videos, or just browse social media. With the Flip 4, it picked up an interesting new trick. You can now enable a full-on trackpad with a legitimate mouse cursor to go along with it, making this tiny flip phone feel almost like a mini laptop, as crazy as that sounds. Like seriously, you can scroll, pinch to zoom, click, double click. This is a legit trackpad. Makes you wonder, is Samsung hinting at a possible folding laptop screen? Oh, and if you're wondering, no, the Flip 4 still doesn't support Samsung DeX. Out the box, the phone runs One UI 4.1.1 on top of Android 12, which is technically one version behind now, since Google literally just dropped Android 13 for Pixel phones. Still, you gotta give them credit because Samsung has quickly climbed to the top when it comes to software support in the Android world, offering 4 years of OS and 5 years of security updates. Basically, the Flip 4 will get Android 16 and security updates up until 2027. That's of course if the phone's durability manages to hold up. There's a total of 3 cameras, a 12 megapixel wide plus 12 megapixel ultra wide on the back that are noticeably larger in size compared to last year. That's paired with a 10 megapixel punch hole selfie on the front. No telephoto, so zoom shots aren't going to be anything to brag about. The good news is that I'm noticing slight improvements across the board. Although you're losing 2 megapixels, the selfies are just so much more detailed and sharper on the Flip 4. Pictures from the main and ultra wide both look slightly better to me too. It's not like a drastic improvement, but hey, it's an improvement. In some scenarios, I actually prefer the Flip 3's look, but for the most part, the Flip 4 takes the more pleasing photo. If you want the best, most versatile cameras, the Flip 4 still falls short compared to other $1,000 phones. But unless you're a photography snob, the cameras on here are perfectly capable for capturing those precious memories. I think Samsung is banking on the improved battery life to be the main selling point for this year's model. If you're a Flip 3 owner and want my honest opinion on whether you should upgrade or not, the short answer, only if the Flip 3's battery isn't cutting it for you. If it gets you through a day, stick with it. Besides the step up in battery life on the Flip 4, everything else is so minor or not impactful enough that I think you should save your money and wait another year. The Flip 3 was the best-selling foldable phone last year, and with a respectable battery life upgrade this year, I think it's gonna give those who were on the fence the push they needed to try out their first ever foldable phone. Of course, there's still trade-offs like a crease and questionable long-term durability, but you aren't going to find a device that offers this type of portability, software support, unique functionality, and just the wow factor anywhere else. Honestly, I'm a fan. If you happen to see me roaming through the streets of Toronto, you'll likely see this in my pocket. As usual, thank you so much for watching. Until the next one, I'm out of here.